Hi, we're going to move pretty quickly through Rachel installation scenario 2, which is Rachel Pi with a Wi-Fi dongle. Some of the pros and cons of Rachel Pi with a Wi-Fi dongle. It's difficult to modify the contents of Rachel. Most people won't be getting in and changing or deleting any of the contents on the SD card that we give you. It requires Raspberry Pi hardware. There's limited ability to transfer the content to additional computers. So you're kind of stuck with the one Rachel server. There's concern about the reliability of SD cards in a lot of environments where we have power failures. SD cards run off the Rachel Pi, and I'll show you what they look like. But we've had some reports of power surges burning out SD cards. It doesn't do much in the way of building a real network, which we consider an important skill for any community. It requires Wi-Fi connections from other devices. The other devices will be the devices accessing Rachel, such as other computers or other tablets or other smartphones. It requires that they have Wi-Fi ability to connect. And it also blocks the internet access of other devices. So a device really only connects to one network at a time. And if you're connecting to the Rachel Pi network, you won't be able to connect to another network at the same time. Maybe that's something like the Khan Academy Lite, or if you have internet, it's a little bit of internet connectivity or slow internet connectivity. It does have a lot of benefits. Some of the pros are that there is support for all devices, including Apple products and smartphones. This means that Apple products, smartphones, computers can all connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot that Rachel Pi creates, and they can all access the Rachel content through their web browsers. It is very easy to use and set up. It's also very exciting for students to see Rachel Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a $35 computer that has got worlds of possibilities for a lot of people. And lastly, it's very low power. It's got the ability to run for a long time off of a portable battery. So the whole unit itself is entirely portable. You can carry it in your pocket if you want to present to school districts or to government about what Rachel content is like. This is a very, very effective way to go and present Rachel content. So very quickly, I'm going to go through what it's like to install a Rachel Pi setup and some of the parts you'll need. And this is a Rachel Pi with a Wi-Fi dongle. What we have here is this is a standard US outlet with a micro USB connector. And this has become kind of the standard connector that you use to charge most cell phones. It should be pretty easy to find one in most locations. This is actually a battery. You can use one or the other of these devices to power the Rachel Pi unit. This is a Raspberry Pi device, and we've got just a cheap case here that we bought online. The cases are about $6. The unit itself is about $35. Then we've got the Wi-Fi dongle, and this was what creates the network that people are going to connect to. As well as the Rachel SD card. And you'll need to get a Rachel SD card. It's free to download on our website and create. There are instructions for creating one of these, or we can mail them out to most locations. So installing this is awfully basic. Down on the bottom here, there is a slot for your SD card to go into, which we'll have to do a little one-handed jig here. So the SD card is plugged in. A note about the SD cards: if you are doing this on your own and not getting an SD card through World Possible, the reading speed of the SD card is very important. So you want something that's at least 45 megabytes per second. And that's what's listed as UHS, Ultra High Speed 1 and above. And so if you're purchasing an SD card, make sure you're purchasing a fast SD card as you're willing to pay for. Then this Wi-Fi dongle, there's a series of Wi-Fi dongles that work as access points. We recommend this one by Rawlink. You can find more information on our website or get them through us. But these Wi-Fi dongles will make an access point so we can make a network. And all I've done is plug it into one of the USB slots here. And then I'll go ahead and use the battery. It's a little more exciting to use the battery, but you could just as easily have used any sort of permanent power solution. And what you'll see is now that I turn on this battery here, that'll light up. The lights in the bottom corner here show that first that we've gotten power, and then you'll see a series of other lights come on as the activity as it's booting up, and then below that are your networking lights that'll pop up and tell you, hey, we've created a network out of this Wi-Fi dongle here. And these Wi-Fi dongles are about $8 or $10. And so what I'm going to do now is go to a computer, and you can be going to a computer, a smartphone, or any other device that has Wi-Fi connectivity. And I'm going to wake this up, and hopefully you have someone who can help you connect to a network if you've never done that before. This is a Windows 8 machine. Windows is very similar. There's a little icon here that says networks are available. And then the name of the Rachel Pi is RPI, and yours will look the exact same if you're using one of our SD cards. It's unsecured, and you're just going to want to go ahead and connect to it. And so it'll take some time to connect, partly because your computer will be looking for the internet, and Rachel doesn't provide the internet. It only provides the content that we've loaded on the SD card. So you won't find the internet. So you may get a notice that you have limited connectivity, which is fine. But it will take some time to connect, especially this first time. If it asks, yes, you do want to turn on sharing, and you'll get a different type of message depending on if you're using your phone or if you're using a Linux computer or an Apple machine. But then you're going to want to open your web browser, just like anyone's ever done with Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox. And you'll see that websites like Gmail, if I were to let this load, they won't load. You're not going to get the rest of the internet because you're connected just to the Rachel Pi network. And so the address for the Rachel Pi device is always the same. It is 192.168.10.1. And this is the address that World Possible is assigned for all of the SD cards that go into the Rachel Pi device. And so I'm going to hit enter. And what I've got now is I'm accessing Rachel. And Rachel is now stored on this Raspberry Pi device we call Rachel Pi. And it can be accessed by any number of computers, any number of smartphones or tablets. That Rachel Pi, again, can run off of battery or any other power source that you'd like. It's very appealing for a lot of students to see the Rachel Pi and to see it pushing this content to their devices. But again, there's a next step, which is just adding any commercial router that we'll go through in the next video. Thank you.